You've been taught that wealth is paper, that it's digits in a bank account, that it's locked behind hard work, degrees, titles, connections. But that's the illusion. The real essence of wealth has nothing to do with the paper it's printed on. It's energy, it's a vibration, it's a frequency you either match or you don't. Money isn't alive, but the energy that surrounds it is. Think about it. Some people touch money and multiply it. Others touch money and lose it. What's the difference? It's not luck. It's not even intelligence, it's resonance. You are a transmitter. Every thought, every emotion, every belief is a signal you're sending out. And the universe, yes, the living, breathing, intelligent field that surrounds everything responds to that signal. Not to what you say you want, but to the frequency you live in. Joseph Murphy said, "Wealth is a subconscious conviction." Read that again. A conviction. That means it's not a wish. It's not even a goal. It's a knowing buried so deep in your identity that you no longer chase it. You just allow it. If you believe wealth is scarce, you'll vibrate at the level of lack. If you believe wealth is sinful, you'll unconsciously sabotage it. If you believe wealth is reserved for other people, you'll never let yourself receive it. These beliefs create a frequency, and that frequency either attracts or repels abundance. Neville Goddard taught that imagination is the creative force of God within you. When you imagine with feeling, when you dwell in the assumption that you already are what you seek, you begin to emit a new vibration. That's the real creation. Not the physical labor, but the inner alignment. Money is drawn to alignment, not desperation. It moves towards stillness, not struggle. Have you noticed that people who radiate confidence, clarity, and calm often attract resources effortlessly? It's not arrogance, it's frequency. You're not meant to beg the universe. You're meant to tune to it. Right now, you can begin shifting. It starts with awareness, with the realization that your outer world is just the echo of your inner frequency. There's no shame in being out of tune. We've all been there. But you're not stuck. You're just a thought, a belief, a vibration away from a new reality. Wealth isn't paper, it's presence. It's not a goal. It's a state. And you're the one who decides which station you tune into. Why most people are energetically repelling money. You say you want more money. You affirm it. You write it. You pray for it. But at the same time, you repel it without even realizing it. And not because you're broken, but because your energy and your desire are often in conflict. You've been conditioned to see money as something distant, heavy, complicated, as something that requires suffering to earn, as something that disappears as fast as it comes. These beliefs aren't neutral. They are active forces in your energetic field. They send a message out, I don't feel safe with money, and so money listens. Your nervous system doesn't lie. If money makes you anxious, ashamed, or guilty, even subconsciously, it will avoid you like a wild animal avoids fear. Because fear signals danger, and money flows where there is safety, where there is welcome. Joseph Murphy taught that your subconscious doesn't argue, it accepts. If deep down you associate wealth with greed, corruption, or pride, your subconscious will protect you by keeping it away. Not to punish, but to keep you pure according to your own belief system. It's like trying to attract a person while constantly sending them mixed signals. You say, come closer, but your body says, I'm not ready, and they feel it. Money works the same way. It's not logical. It's energetic. Neville Goddard would say, you must become the version of yourself who already has it. Not pretend. Become. Embody. Live from that place. But here's where most people sabotage themselves. They ask for more while feeling unworthy of receiving. You can't fake worthiness. You have to build it brick by brick, thought by thought. And it begins by identifying the lies you've inherited. I'm not good with money. People like me don't get rich. Rich people are bad. These ideas are like viruses in your mental software, silently crashing your ability to receive. Every time you complain about bills, stress about prices, or feel envy towards someone else's abundance, you are tuning to lack. Not intentionally, just habitually. But habits can be broken. Frequencies can be shifted. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to become clearer, cleaner, lighter. The version of you that welcomes money like an old friend. Without fear. Without resistance. You're not being punished. You're being shown your current frequency. And that awareness? That's your way out. The state of abundance. How to tune your mind, you've heard it before. You must think abundantly. But what does that actually mean? It's not just thinking positively or visualizing wealth. It's entering a state of frequency of mind where abundance is natural, obvious, inevitable. It's not about thinking of abundance. It's about thinking from abundance. Neville Goddard explained it best. You must live in the end. That means you must act, speak, and think from the point of already having it, not wishing, not waiting. Being. You don't get rich by chasing money. You align with it. You become someone who naturally attracts it because your inner world no longer doubts it. Because your identity shifts from one who lacks to one who expresses. Abundance doesn't begin with dollars. It begins with awareness. Start with what you have now. The air in your lungs, the clarity in your mind. The idea is waiting to be born. Abundance is already here. It's your mind that has to catch up. Joseph Murphy emphasized this. Whatever you give attention to, you energize. If you constantly think about debt, you energize debt. If you worry about scarcity, you reinforce scarcity. But when you persist in the state of abundance, when you saturate your subconscious with the feeling of wealth, you command reality to shift. So how do you tune your mind? You begin with silence, with space. You can't tune into abundance while drowning in mental noise. Take moments each day to quiet your thoughts. Not to force anything, but to allow your real self, the wealthy self, the radiant self to surface. Then you speak, not to beg, but to declare. I am abundant. Wealth flows to me freely. I am aligned with the frequency of prosperity. These aren't just affirmations. They are reprogramming commands. Spoken in rhythm. Spoken with belief. Spoken until they become you. And finally, you act, not to prove your worth, but to express it. Every small choice becomes an act of abundance. Taking care of your space. Investing in your growth. Saying no to what drains you. Saying yes to what uplifts you. These are all money moves, even if they don't involve a single coin. Your mind is a transmitter, constantly sending out the signal of your inner state. The universe responds to the signal, not the words. That's why many who talk wealth still live in lack. Their words are loud, but their energy whispers fear. Tune your mind and you tune your life. And yes, it takes practice, daily, quietly, relentlessly. But once your inner world shifts, your outer world follows. Because wealth isn't something you earn, it's something you awaken. You don't have to wait, you just have to tune. Money as a mirror. What it's really showing you, money doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter you. It doesn't respond to who you pretend to be. It reflects who you are deeply, energetically, unconsciously. Like a mirror, it reveals the blueprint you've accepted about your own worth, your place in the world, and what you believe is possible. Most people chase money as if it's hiding somewhere far away. But money isn't distant, it's responsive. It's always echoing your inner state. If you believe that you must suffer for wealth, money will respond in kind. If you feel unworthy of ease, abundance will become hard to hold. Joseph Murphy wrote, "Your subconscious mind is like a bank, a universal financial institution. It magnifies what you deposit. And you deposit through your thoughts, emotions, and assumptions every single day. So ask yourself, what are you depositing? Do you often say things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or I'm just not lucky with money? Those aren't just phrases. They're instructions, commands you send into the mirror, asking it to reflect back limitation, and it obeys. Money reveals your default frequency. If it flows easily, you likely associate money with safety, value, and self-expression. If it resists you, perhaps you unconsciously associate money with fear, guilt, or loss. But here's the breakthrough. The mirror can be changed, not by chasing the reflection, but by shifting the source you. You don't clean a mirror by scrubbing the image. You clean the surface that creates it. Neville Goddard reminded us that everything is a reflection of your consciousness. If you shift the self that is projecting, the reality projected must also shift. That's why some people, with no education or connections, rise into wealth effortlessly because their inner self-image expects it, while others, with all the tools, sabotage their wealth repeatedly because they still feel undeserving. This isn't about blame, it's about power. If money is showing you your inner story, then you have the pen in your hand. You can rewrite it. Start by observing without judgment. Where do you feel tightness around money? Where do you self-sabotage? Where do you resist receiving? Then reverse the narrative. not with denial, but with intention. Create new mental images where money supports you, celebrates you, multiplies around you. Imagine money as a partner, not an enemy, not a savior, but a loyal mirror that follows your lead. Your financial reality isn't fixed. It's fluid. And every time you shift your energy, you rewrite the reflection. Money is a tool, but more than that, it's a message. And the message is always this: who are you being right now? Answer that truthfully, and you hold the key. Breaking the scarcity spell. What they never told you scarcity is not just a lack of money. It's a psychological program, a spell cast on your consciousness long before you had the power to question it. You were born into a world where lack was normalized, where phrases like, "we can't afford that," or "you have to work hard to get by," were repeated like sacred truths. But they were never truth. They were beliefs handed down, generation after generation, like invisible chains. And here's what no one told you: scarcity is not reality. It's a lens, a distorted one. One that filters every experience through fear, control, and limitation. You see opportunities and think they're for someone else. You feel inspired and immediately question your right to receive. You desire more but feel guilty for wanting it. This is the true prison, not your bank account, but the belief that it defines you. Joseph Murphy explained that wealth is a state of consciousness, and that your outer world can only express what your inner mind has first accepted. In other words, until you uninstall the scarcity spell, no amount of money will ever feel safe, sustainable, or even real. So how do you break the spell? You don't beg the world to change, you rewrite the script in your own mind. Begin by noticing how scarcity speaks. It's sneaky. It hides in your habits, hesitating to invest in yourself, settling for less, feeling guilty for saying no. It whispers when you compare your worth to others or delay your dreams because now's not the right time. Then confront it, not with anger, but with clarity. Scarcity thrives on unconscious agreement. When you pause and bring awareness, it loses power. You begin to see the lie for what it is, a program installed to keep you small, compliant, afraid. And here's the most radical truth: abundance is your natural state. You were born as pure potential, connected to infinite supply. The trees don't ration their leaves. The sun doesn't limit its light. The universe isn't worried about running out of stars. So why should you? Neville Goddard said, "Change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live." That's the key. You must no longer see yourself as the one chasing abundance, but as the one from whom abundance flows. When you internalize that, your energy shifts. And when your energy shifts, the spell begins to break. Suddenly, money feels closer, possibilities feel real. And most importantly, you no longer need permission to receive. You're not here to survive scarcity. You're here to dissolve it. You're not meant to manage crumbs. You're here to open the floodgates. And the most powerful magic isn't in what you do, it's in what you believe is already true. Change the belief and you change the world. Becoming a magnet, tuning your frequency to prosperity. You've been taught to chase money, to hunt it like prey, to believe that if you run fast enough, sacrifice enough, prove yourself enough, it might eventually turn its head and notice you. But what if money isn't something to pursue? What if it's something that responds? Every thought you think, every emotion you carry, emits a frequency. You are not a passive being. You are a broadcaster, and the universe? It's the perfect mirror, non-judgmental, precise, and always tuned in to your signal. Joseph Murphy declared, "Your subconscious mind is like a garden. What you plant will grow." So when you walk through life vibrating with doubt, worry, resentment, or desperation, you plant seeds of lack. And the harvest, predictably, is more of the same. But there is another way. You shift the frequency. To become a magnet for wealth, you must feel wealth before it arrives. You must vibrate as if it's already done. This is not delusion, it's energetic alignment. The signal you emit must match the reality you want to live. Neville Goddard called it living in the end. He taught that imagining a future from the place of fulfillment, not yearning, is the secret doorway. Not wanting to be rich, but assuming you already are. Not hoping, but knowing. Because want vibrates as absence. But assumption? Assumption radiates power. And here's where most people fail. They wait for the physical world to validate their belief. But the truth is inverted. Reality doesn't create your inner state. Your inner state creates reality. So you begin small. You imagine holding money with ease. You walk as someone who already has enough. You thank God for what's on the way, as if it's already here. And something shifts, not in the air, but in you. You stop grasping. You stop proving. You start trusting the current like a river that always finds the ocean. Abundance begins flowing to you, not because you fought for it, but because you aligned with it. When your frequency changes, you no longer tolerate what doesn't match. You stop selling your energy to the lowest bidder. You say no with clarity. You say yes with boldness. And the universe, always listening, responds in kind. Money becomes less of a symbol and more of a reflection. A mirror to the value you've remembered in yourself. You don't force wealth, you allow it. You become a place where it feels safe to land. And here's the paradox. The more you tune into this frequency, the less you need to prove your worth, and the more effortlessly wealth finds you. You're no longer chasing, you're attracting. You're no longer begging, you're receiving. Because the magnet doesn't move, it draws. And that's who you've always been beneath the noise, a magnetic, radiant soul, whose very essence pulls miracles from the unseen into the now. If this message resonated with you, subscribe now to stay connected with the energy that awakens you. Like this video to anchor this frequency in your field. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a transmission that your spirit needs. And comment below, I am the frequency. Let the universe hear your voice. You're not here by chance. You're here to rise and remember who you truly are.